Now, a legal blow for Limpopo Sports and Arts and Culture MEC Thandi Moraka. She's lost her defamation case against News24. The MEC filed a lawsuit over a story that alleged she'd received a bribe from a known Eskom slush fund. Her legal representative, Mukoma Maiwashe, joins us now for more. He's with Mukoma Maiwashe attorneys. Thank you so much for making time. So you took News24 to court. This was yesterday about their story that the MEC received kickback from the Eskom slush fund. How have you responded to how that court has ruled?
Look, first let me correct you when you say that we have lost the case in court yesterday. The matter was taken on urgent basis in terms of the rules of the High Court, and then it had since been struck off the roll for lack of agency, which would mean therefore that we have since asked the registrar of the High Court to allocate us a date on opposed roll. So the matter is just being struck off the roll, therefore is still pending before court. So it will be incorrect for you or even News24 to relate the matter as if the matter is dismissed.
All right, so when are you going to be filing the application again? So it's dismissed on the matter of urgency, but you're still going to file to still challenge the news agency?
Yes, that is correct. We have since filed our papers, and we are waiting for a date allocation in court on when the matter should be heard. Because remember, when the matter is before court and is struck off for lack of agency, it means that matter is still pending. So if you still feel strong on the allegations that you have brought through, it would mean that you should then place the matter on opposed roll. And that is what is going to happen soon thereafter.
Yeah. So did the MEC receive money from the Eskom slush fund? I think what she's taken issue with News24 is that that's being referred as kickbacks. And her reasoning, from my understanding, is that that was a loan. Is she confirming that there was money that was transferred from this account by Binatlo into her business account?
But remember, all these things are happening in 2016 before she becomes an MEC of the sports and culture in Limpopo. And according to the papers that we drafted, it would mean that the relationship which is there between the MEC, it is between her and Hatsen Khomiaswana. It has nothing to do with Mr. Hlakudi or Eskom. She's not aware of anything, and there is no dealings between her and Mr. Hlakudi.
Yes, but what I'm asking is she confirming that there was money, though? Because my understanding is that Khomiaswana was ordered by Hlakudi, and this came from the Eskom files. He was ordered by Hlakudi to transfer about 500,000 rand into the account of Moraka's business account for, and I quote here, stakeholder management services.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, so when you are saying that there was no relationship with Hlakudi, but this was with Khomiaswana, you are missing this detail that Khomiaswana didn't just decide to send the now MEC this money. He was instructed to do so by Hlakudi, who was running this Eskom slush fund.
Look, I think the point you are missing here is the issue between them, which it's in the court papers. There is a loan agreement between the parties, which is then signed between Mr. Khomiaswana and the MEC. So which means that whatever that Eskom says the money comes from Mr. Hlakudi or the slush fund, it will be incorrect for my client to now say, I confirm that this money comes from them because I'm not aware of it. If you ask for a loan, where it comes from, you normally don't have to worry about, so long as you get the money from whoever you have asked the money from.
Well, you have to worry about it now when you realize that the money where now we understand Khomiaswana was ordered by Hlakudi to make that payment, that money came from this Eskom slush fund. That was money that was used for money laundering, right? The money that was used to enrich even former Eskom officials. So that is the worry. The MEC needs to worry about where that money comes from, especially given the revelations from the Eskom files.
But is it not a bit too late for that?
No, it's not too late for it. If she received money and she realizes now that the person that she made the loan agreement with was actually instructed to pay the amount of 500,000 rand by a man who runs the slush fund, that is a problem because it raises questions about the relationship that Mrs. Moraka had with Mr. Hlakudi.
No, she never had any relationship with Mr. Hlakudi. Even the said emails that have since been revealed, there is none email between her and Mr. Hlakudi. There's no any communication between her and Mr. Hlakudi, which is there in court papers that there is no relations. So the only correspondence which is there is Mr. Hudson Khomiaswana and herself. So to put in play Mr. Hlakudi, it will be wrong. And remember, our papers are not saying that. Our papers are saying you are describing our client as a corrupt person, whereas she's not. If she was aware that the money comes from a slush fund, would she be in this position today? No, she would not, because she would have believed that it would be incorrect or wrong for me to take this money if it's then taken out as money laundering or corruption activities.
So you are confirming then that the MEC doesn't know of this email where Mr. Hlakudi was instructed, had instructed Mr. Khomiaswana, who had this loan agreement with the MEC. She wasn't aware that the instruction came from Mr. Hlakudi for Mr. Khomiaswana to pay 500,000 rand into her account. You're saying she's not aware of that communication?
No, because the money which is paid to my client's account is from Khomiaswana.
Okay.
So if the money was paid by Mr. Hlakudi to Mr. Khomiaswana, then transferred to my client, how would she then know that Khomiaswana is transferring money from someone else? She would not have known.
Is there a reason why the money was paid into her business account?
Look, the business account, it was within her discretion where the money should go.
And the details of the loan agreement, have you shared those?
Yeah, they are there in the court papers, which have since we didn't even get response from the News24 or Ms. Karim in terms of having the loan being paid in full, and no monies are owed to Mr. Khomiaswana or Babinatlo by my client. Hence, we have the strong view that we have a stronger case. Hence, we are going to court because we have proof that she doesn't owe them anymore. She has paid them back in full.
And when was the payment made? Was it made recently or as part of the loan agreement? It was made a couple of years ago, just after the payment was made.
It was made between 2017 and 2018.
Okay. So what does the MEC make then of the involvement of Mr. Khomiaswana in these corruption allegations? Because what you are saying is she didn't know of the relationship between Khomiaswana and Mr. Hlakudi, and that all she had was the agreement between herself as Mr. Khomiaswana. But Mr. Khomiaswana was working with Mr. Hlakudi, and as you may be aware, my understanding is now he, together with Mr. Hlakudi, are now facing corruption charges. Is the MEC concerned about that and where the money, she may not have known at the time, but is she concerned now about where that money may have come from and whether or not it may have been proceeds of this slush fund?
She is indeed concerned. Hence, if you have side of the papers before court, the Babinatlo and also Mr. Hudson Khomiaswana are both cited as respondents on the matter.
All right. Look, thank you so much for making time. That is the lawyer representing the MEC, Mrs. Moraka. They went to court yesterday challenging the report by News24 that the MEC had received money from this slush fund, Babinatlo Business Services. Thank you so much for making time.